Hi, everybody. This is the comic book guy, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion. Host, welcome back to the comic book, and hopefully you like this video. So, Thunderbolts obviously did not do nearly as well as what Marvel thought it was going to do, what Disney thought it was going to do. They tried to rebrand it as the new Avengers, but they're not the Avengers. And it's fallen short in terms of what, it costs a lot of money to make it. And obviously the value is just not there. Well, now the box office, which is the best barometer of all this stuff, is fallen short. So here's from cosmicbooknews.com. Thunderbolts box office falls off a cliff. Now predicted less than $400 million. Well, that's not good. We got new insight into the Thunderbolts box office where it's said to have fallen off a cliff, and that the flick won't even make $400 million worldwide. It's another disaster for Kevin Feige and a long line of disasters released post-Endgame. And part of it is just the stories. Nobody wants to see these stories from the early 2010s. Sorry. And that's the problem. If they'd gone with other great classic stories from Marvel and hadn't killed off Tony Stark, hadn't screwed up everything with Captain America with Chris Evans, we wouldn't have this problem. But anyway, Captain America Brave New World just failed, which was perceived by the big failure of the Marvels. Let's also add that Feige, or whatever the fuck his name is, and Marvel expected big things from Quantumania. But that too was such a massive bust that it led to the complete overhaul of the MCU and the arrest of Kang, the actor who played Kang. Up next is the Fantastic Four First Steps, and so far it's not looking good. Fans don't seem as excited and are lumping it in with the aforementioned failures. Is that why Feige pushed back Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars so far away from FF? To add to things is all the drama surrounding Pedro Pascal. His questionable actions online and political views could send the Fantastic Four first steps, it might be final steps, towards doom. But he's also a very strange individual. His behavior is very strange. Very, very strange, to be honest with you. I've seen some things I haven't talked about here, but very, very strange. What is said about the Thunderbolts box office? Needed help internationally. The writer notes in his recent box office reports he's been more optimistic about the Thunderbolts box office because it was performing a lot better than Captain America Brave New World. Thunderbolts has actually been performing around 50% better in the dailies than Cap 4. However, the writer said it would need help from the international box office. Well, it turns out the foreign fans have voted with their dollars and just aren't interested in the so-called new Avengers. There's nobody there that is of any interest to anybody. You don't have Thor in it. You don't have the three big characters of the Avengers in it. And obviously you don't have Hawkeye in it. Hawkeye, come in, Hawkeye. They don't have Scarlett Johansson in it. The Hulk's not in it. It would have been nice if the Hulk was in this movie. That would have been great. Foreign box office terminated. We get insights about the foreign box office via Luis Fernando, who does a good job of regularly reporting and giving box office updates on X. Luis offers the Thunderbolts International box office has been terminated. It's been dominated by all the recent competition, which includes the likes of Lilo and Stitch, Mission Impossible, and even Final Destination Bloodlines. We can also add in Sinners. Luis says Thunderbolts is performing about 40% less internationally than Cap 4 in the fourth weekend overseas. And, they had big actors in Captain America 4. Obviously, they had Harrison Ford in it. I mean, he's old, The X user adds, due to such a low foreign box office, that Thunderbolts won't reach $400 million any longer. And the new Avengers is now eyeing a $380 to $390 million global run. Cap 4 finished with $214.6 million internationally, while Thunderbolts is presently at $181.7 million. Oh boy, that's way behind. Won't hit break-even number. The budget is said to be around $180 million plus marketing. The break-even number reported has been said to be $450 million. So if Thunderbolts finishes around $390, that's at least a $60 million loss for Disney. I'm glad that's not my money. I actually believe the break-even number is a higher number, so if that's the case, the rebranded failure of New Avengers is at an even larger loss for Disney, which recently confirmed in an investor report that Captain America Brave New World is a failure at $415.1 million worldwide gross. But here's the thing, like I said, the money in terms of the budget, how much money are they making off that? It's not a lot, especially when they're not making this kind of money. And everything is all domestic box office. That's where you want to make the money. But if you don't make anything, internationally, you're screwed. Doomsday for Thunderbolts. Since Thunderbolts has been performing better on the dailies than Cap 4, the writer's most recent estimate was that Thunderbolts could finish at best around $430 million worldwide and would need a miracle to hit the $450 million break-even number in weekend 4 domestically. Thunderbolts comes in at $9.164 million, while Cap 4 came in at $8.3 million. Like the writer said, it would need help internationally to hit the $430 million mark and keep outpacing Cap 4 to the tune of 50% as it has been. But if Luis's estimates are right, it's also doomsday for Thunderbolts. Worth noting is that if Thunderbolts did manage to hit $430 million, it's still a bust. That's not good. Will Phage and Marvel ever learn? The movie isn't terrible by any means, but it also could have been a lot better. More from the Century and Winter Soldier would have gone a long way. Also making the whole movie about Florence Pugh, oh God. And Yelena was another mistake. And again, you can't have these female-centric movies. Unless it's Wonder Woman. There's only one female that can carry a movie. That's Wonder Woman. And even then they screwed up the second one. Didn't they learn their lesson from the big fail of the Marvels and the MCU bust on Disney? Most recent box office numbers can be found below. Well, that doesn't matter. I don't care about that. But the point being is that unless you're talking about Wonder Woman, all these other women, all these female characters pale in comparison to her. And like I said, the first movie was great. The second movie was horrible. Nobody wants to see that Saturday Night Live comedian running around. Being, unfunny. Well, she's not funny anyway. Not being funny and just being weird and creepy around Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman has no powers in it. Because she did something stupid and took on some gypsy curse so she can get Steve Trevor back. But, really, there's only one woman in terms of a superhero that can carry a movie. That's Wonder Woman. And nobody else can carry a movie. No female character can carry a movie like she can. Or the potential of it. But be that as it may, Thunderbolts, I never thought it was a great concept. I thought it was too soon for them to do this kind of movie. I think they should have done other things. Why they're doing all this sort of other stuff when there's so many great stories out there. And I'd heard so much potential for so many other different things over the years prior to Endgame. And then not going down that road. I don't understand why they're dragging their feet on it. The word was that they were going to go into outer space with Marvel, and they haven't done that. Obviously, Captain Marvel, the first movie was okay, but Brie Larson has the all the sort of charisma of dry paint, and that didn't go well. I mean, the box office was okay, but she's got no personality. And then they realized that. That's why they did the Marvels sequel, which she wasn't like the main character in her own sequel. It's very strange. And but you can't be doing that stuff. It has to be male-centric with these comic book movies. You can't have, unless Wonder Woman, you can't have all these female-centrics. And you can't have somebody that nobody knows. No one knows Yelena. Nobody knows the White Widow. Nobody cares. Okay? Even Black Widow couldn't carry her movie. Okay? As much as we all love Scarlett Johansson, the Black Widow is a double D rated character. Let's be honest. She always was. When she had a series was with Daredevil and Black Widow. It wasn't Black Widow with Daredevil. It was the other way around. It was a team-up book at one point. But I guess Disney doesn't care. They waste money. I guess they don't care. But things are starting to percolate with Bob Iger. He's getting pissed off that they're losing a lot of money. And he wants to make money. He's still in the business of making money. Don't kid yourself. Well, thank you for watching this video. And of course, please subscribe to the Comic Book Hut, and I'll see you later.